The uncertainty of the American Revolution threatened his comfortable way of life, and so for a long time he was uncertain about this idea of independence.
Carter Braxton.
Carter Braxton.
Carter Braxton.
Carter Braxton was born on September 10th, 1736, to a very wealthy family in King and Queen County, Virginia. Unfortunately, his mother died very shortly after his birth, leaving him with only his father to care for him. Carter's father made his fortune through planting and trading in the American colonies, and this enabled him, like many other children of wealthy families at the time, to be educated in William and Mary College in England. Shortly after he returned home from his British studies, his father passed away, leaving Carter with the family's estate. Carter got married at the age of 19 to Judith Robinson, and she died 2 years later in 1756 while giving birth to their second child. Well, finding himself alone once again, Carter then went to England for a little more than 2 years, and in 1760 he returned and he married again to Elizabeth Corbin, and with her he would have 16 more children. In 1761, Mr. Braxton was appointed to the House of Burgesses, and 14 years later, in 1775, Braxton was selected to the Continental Congress. The uncertainty of the American Revolution threatened his comfortable way of life, and so for a long time he was uncertain about this idea of independence. As late as April 14, 1776, he wrote a letter to his uncle stating that he believed America was just not ready for independence. But just a month later, May 17, 1776, he wrote another letter to his uncle stating that America, with one united voice, should seek independence. He came to believe that this country would be harmed if Congress appeared to be divided over the issue of independence, and so he voted for independence and signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, at the age of 39. On Saturday, October 12th, 1776, both Carter Braxton and Thomas Jefferson were publicly offered an expression of appreciation. Resolved unanimously that the thanks of this House are justly due to Thomas Jefferson and Carter Braxton, Esquires, for the diligence, ability, and integrity with which they executed the important trust reposed in them as two of the delegates for this county in the General Congress. Well, back in Virginia, he supported a bill to recruit slaves to fight for the Revolution, to be given their freedom in exchange for their service. The bill was defeated, but Carter Braxton embraced the effort to win the American freedom, and he purchased supplies for the army out of his own pocket. Braxton was strong and a financial supporter of the American Revolution, investing a great deal of his own personal wealth into the supporting of the revolutionary cause. He funded shipping and privateering during the conflict, the losses from which eventually resulted in a great debt. He saw his ships swept from the seas by the British Navy. Though he retained ownership of large tracts of land, he sold what he had left in his estate in 1786 to pay off his debts. He then moved into a small but elegant home in the town of West Point. Though he lost his money, his political friendships stayed close, and he later served in a salaried position on the council of the state, acting as an advisor to the governor of Virginia. Braxton held this position for the rest of his life until October 10th, 1797, when he died from a stroke. Charles Augustus Goodrich writes of Carter Braxton, "Mr. Braxton was a gentleman of cultivated mind and respectable talents. Although not distinguished by the impressive eloquence of Henry and Lee, his oratory was easy and flowing. In his manners, he was particularly agreeable, and the language of his conversation and eloquence was smooth and flowing. Carter Braxton is a man that was easy to get along with, one who was kind and willing to give everything that he had for his country, his friends, his family, and for a cause which he deeply believed in. The end.